My name is Ross Mccarthy and I'm from the Guild of Dog Trainers, and I'm going to talk to you today about dog training and some of the most important things that we can teach our dogs. So what is dog training? Really, it's about teaching the dog actions for rewards. So for example, teaching your dog to come back to you in the park, to sit and to stay, to behave in the presence of guests around the house. All of this is an aspect of dog training. And what we're really talking about is teaching the dog to do things when it wants to do something else. So there are always conflicts of the dog's natural desire and what you want it to do. So dogs will follow their innate drives. That is what is rewarding to a dog. So for example, chasing a squirrel in the park, that fires up the dog's normal predatory response, and dogs enjoy that. And of course, for safety reasons, we can't always allow that. So when we're talking about teaching a recall, for example, in those situations, our work is much harder because we're asking the dog to do something very unnatural when it wants to do something that it finds very natural, very fulfilling, and very rewarding. But motivation is one of the key words with dog training. We have to motivate the dog to respond to us, to want to be with us, and to enjoy spending time with us, and to follow learnt commands. So of course we can use toys in training as rewards for actions, and commonly food is used, food rewards, when we're teaching dogs in the very early stages of obedience training. But ultimately, we are the ones that control the toys and control the food. On their own they do very little. So it's about our timing, linking commands to the dog's actions, and then delivering the subsequent reward, whatever that may be, at the appropriate time to really speed up the rate at which dogs learn. Recall training is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing we can teach our dog. In wherever you live, whether you live in the country, you're going to encounter livestock, ramblers, horse riders, or whether you live in a town or a city where there are numerous other dogs that you encounter on a regular basis in the park, children in the park, people having picnics. All of those things can provide huge problems for people that are unable to recall their dog. Recall training is quite a difficult aspect of training to teach, because what we tend to do is not to start off with young puppies in the right manner. So very quickly dogs learn that when they're off the lead in the park or in open spaces, when they decide not to come when you call them, there's actually very little you can do about it at that stage. And to stand there powerless, wanting to have your dog come back to you, but is ignoring your commands, really is the bane of many dog owners' lives. The critical period that you have really for recall training is when you first get your puppy. So when you first start taking the dog out into public places, teaching the dog to be with you and to respond to you at all times is far easier with a puppy than with an adult dog. And some dogs, through breed inherent drives or through individual personalities, can be much harder to train than others. And particularly so when that dog has repetition of ignoring commands in favour of doing what it wants to do. And none of those things make you popular as a dog owner, or in fact do any dog owners any favours. Teaching the recall to an adult dog can be very difficult, and therefore you really may need to seek specialist help from a dog trainer. A common mistake in dog ownership or in recall training is allowing the dog to find its own rewards in the park. So when the dog gets to the park, you take the lead off, you wander around, perhaps talking to other people, or you wander around with friends, and allow the dog to find his own amusement. And that could be playing with other dogs, chasing around the park. And to counter that behaviour, when you start recall training with an adult dog that has multiple repetitions of ignoring you and indulging in self-rewarding behaviour, can be very difficult indeed. So it's really important that you start training with your young dog using a long line or some of the rewards that we mentioned earlier, because training at the critical stage, which is the earlier the better, prevents many problems occurring later and really does make your quality of life as a dog owner much better but equally, and probably most importantly, your dogs get a much better quality of life simply because you can go to more places, they can have some more freedom because you've invested time in the early recall training. If you do need a dog trainer to come and help you, please visit the Guild of Dog Trainers website, who have trainers nationally who will be able to help you. Speak to that trainer, satisfy yourself that they're the person that you wish to work with and that they can provide what you need, and then begin your dog training course.